Hello, my friends. Today, Joel is talking to Roland, the Global Chief Security Officer at TikTok, and they discuss what it takes to secure one of the world's largest entertainment platforms, why Roland prioritizes hiring mission-driven talent spanning engineering, security, safety, and privacy, and the various techniques that TikTok employs to protect its diverse user base. All of this right here, right now, on the ModernCTO Podcast.
How did you end up working with TikTok?
How I worked with TikTok's an entirely different story, but I've been the chief security officer of ADP for the last 10 years. And my dream job came open. A friend of mine, another major multinational, the chief security position was open. It was like my dream job. When I started interviewing for it, I realized it was not my dream job. And it just so happens that the same recruiters were recruiting for the TikTok job that had been open a while. And they had asked me, hey, what would you like to do? And I told them about, my focus on advanced technology, my focus on, doing things for the greater good, and, high-paced environments. And they go, how about TikTok? I said, say what? So that was a almost 5.5, 6 month journey in working with TikTok and talking about what they wanted and what I wanted to do or could do, and accumulated with an incredible opportunity to meet their CEO that was just changed my whole perspective, and had a great meeting. And I can touch on a couple of those things, in conversation. So but that's how I got to TikTok, and now it's been almost 2 years.
Is the CEO the founder? He
is. Yeah. Ming. We couldn't arrange a time to sit down. He's a sit down type of guy. You'd pass him 1,000 times on the street, you wouldn't know that he's one of the smartest technical human beings in the world. And he flew down, and what was supposed to be a 90-minute meeting turned into 3.5 hours of us going back, talking about what ifs, different types of technology. How do you enable that type of global capability, in the security, risk, and privacy realm. It was just an amazing conversation. It really was. So that's how I got here, and it's just been nonstop since.
That's so cool. What's your actual title?
Chief Security Officer, Global Chief Security Officer. Yeah.
Nice. And so you were in the Air Force. Were you doing security in the Air Force?
Yeah, the other side of it was combat security police and specialty in anti-terrorism.
That sounds really cool.
It's not a bad gig. I got some really great years of training that, are usable in different ways, but yeah.
What's the difference from TikTok is such an enormous scale. Like everybody, knows what TikTok is. And I even knew what TikTok is, even though I had never used it. And so we can edit this out if you don't like it. But when I found out that you were going to come on the show, I was like, that is so awesome. TikTok's huge. Everybody knows what TikTok is. And then I thought, I don't know what TikTok is. I know the brand, did an excellent job with the brand, but I just don't know what it is. So I sat down that night with my wife and I was like, you have to show me how to use TikTok. Because a couple times before she was doing some weird stuff with a video. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, don't worry. She's like, just stand there. She's like, it's a TikTok. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. And so then at first, because I was brand new account, just started scrolling through it. I was like, what is this? And I was really confused. And then she was telling me, I was like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And she goes, no, you have to go find stuff that you're interested in. And I said, okay. So I found some science TikToks, where they do science experiments or interesting, dude, it is so cool. I love it.
So everyone's feed is different. That's the beautiful thing of the algorithm, is that it provides you a path to the people and things you want to connect to, and then you can decide, right, whether you want to see it or not. And based on that is how it helps you develop, those connections and being able to consume things that are specific to you, and that's really, I think, the beauty behind it. You have two sides of TikTok. You have the people that create to be their authentic self, to deliver what makes them happy, to show themselves to the world. And then you have the people who want to consume it and enjoy, communities, global communities across the platform that are of like, if so to speak, where it makes them happy, it makes them smile. I mean, so my feed, I was a former canine handler, so my feed is full of an awful lot of canine stuff. I'm the daughter of two, young adult, women who are, one's out of college, one's still in university, but they hate my dad jokes. I freaking think I'm hilarious, right? And so my feed's full of that. And my wife and I enjoy, messing with our kids. So our feeds are full of, parents having fun messing with their kids. So it's like whatever makes you smile. So it's a fun place to work.
I just learned 2 new things. I'm going to find some dad joke channels and parents messing with kids stuff. I'm excited.
Oh, and search for the dad help desks. Those are hilarious.
I love being a dad. I'm only 4 years into it, almost 5, but the pass you get with dad jokes is quite possibly the most underrated part of being a father. So true. So true. Here at TikTok, we actually have an internal group of, we have our own enterprise technology, and there's a group on it called Dad Jokes, and you could get lost in that for hours. It's so damn funny. I love it. Well, I'm glad I know you now. Now I'm going to message you all my TikTok stuff. So I was really curious though, so chief security, global security officer, is that everything from the desk of the engineers, devices to the servers? Is that everything security, or is it just in a specific area?
Oh, it's everything. So think of it as business operations protection. So our focus is the protection of the totality of the company, the technology, the platforms, the hosting environments that make up the products. And so our global security programs encompass both security, risk, and privacy operations. So where we have everything from data defense to our cyber intelligence units, to our threat management teams, to our incident response teams, our new fusion centers we're building out, which are super stoked about, and all the way through to our privacy and data protection organization that focuses specifically on privacy controls. And then, of course, risk management and our trust and assurance team. So these are hundreds of practitioners around the globe solely focused on the principal priority that our company has, which is the security, safety, and trust of the platform.
I love it. And you just sparked an idea, a thought. So my sister-in-law has 2 boys that are late elementary going into middle school. So they have phones now, right? And they have Instagram, and they're really into gaming. And the way I was hanging out with her and I saw her doing something on her phone, what are you doing? She goes, oh, I log into my son's Instagram so that I have their profiles on my phone. So I go in and check on them. And I was like, that is so interesting. And so I started doing some research, as a parent, because I don't have to deal with it today, but you don't want the kids banging on the keyboard and hitting the wrong site or anything. Yeah. So it is so much more advanced than I'm 34. So it was so much more advanced than when I was a kid. It was just the Wild West, but now you can do amazing privacy controls at the routers. Disney makes a router. All these other companies have these crazy child protect, privacy and stuff. And I didn't see that Instagram had it. And do you guys have things like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's so many layers here at TikTok in our trust, security, safety, and privacy controls. One of my favorites is family pairing. So it's interesting you asked about that. Our family pairing capability allows a parent to pair their account with their child and help control what they can see, do, manage who they connect with, depending on age. Because if you're a younger user on a platform, you can't connect with anyone. But the whole idea is to put in these set of layered controls that involves the parents or adults in a child's life that gives family capabilities to enjoy the platform together in a safe and secure manner. But that's on top of all the other work that our trust and safety organization does. Joe, we remove, I gotta say it's 93 or 94% of all violative videos, right? Things we don't want on platforms. We have strong user and community guidelines on our platforms that are constantly enhanced, and we use outside third-party groups to help us develop them. Literally 93 or 94% of those get removed before the video even hits platform. So when someone creates a video and they go to push it to platform, it goes through an introspection. And at that point, either voice, video, lyrics, and or words within the video itself are inspected. And if it's not appropriate for platform, it'll be removed. And so there's so many of these type of things. Q2 2000 or in 21, just in Q2 alone, 82 million videos we removed. It's amazing the speed at which the technology moves, but our capabilities have kept up with it. So it's fun to be part of an organization that's so focused on that.
Yeah, and you're right, because I sat down for an hour last night to go through it again. And right when I opened it up, it had a little dialogue that said the community standards have been recently updated. Click here to view them. Of course, I didn't. I just clicked OK so I could get to my science memes and stuff. But you're right.
Read them. I mean, it's funny because I probably come to the same place with you. Where I dig into technology, I get rid of that, keep going. I want to read. I want to get into the the tech itself. But I think it's important. I think it's important, for people to focus on what the technology can do for them and how they can engage the technology and use it as a responsible person of the online community. I think it's up to people to be able to stand what controls, what protection they have over their own information. I mean, there are things within our platform that allows people to define the privacy they have, define who they share things with, define to understand what data they have. All of these things are available to users. So tongue in cheek, I get it, but I think it's important for folks to go look at that stuff.
Samsung, I had to buy this new TV, right? And when I was registering it or setting it up, first of all, it made me install an app and go through this infinite amount of steps I wasn't too happy about. But one of the things that I had to check the box on in order to proceed with the setup is confirming that I understand that they have this voice ad recognition system, and I couldn't opt out of it. I'm going to search later because this was just last night. So I'm going to search later to see if I can opt out of it after it's all set up, but it wouldn't let me complete the setup process unless if I accepted the terms that they're going to listen to my voice and provide me suggestions with products about that. I've seen that in a couple other apps and trends, not specific to TikTok. How do you see that as a technological human being living in the world?
So I see choice is a really important thing. I see notification and being transparent about what you're providing, what you're not providing, what your capabilities are and are not. I don't know the specific technology, so I don't really want to pontificate on it, specifically. But I think what's important from a technology point of view, and into our earlier conversation, is it's important to put things out there, what our technologies are capable of and not, and then give the choice into the hands of the individual. If you want to engage in a specific technology and that requires, a certain level of privacy or agreement to how your information will or will not be used, you should have that choice. That is really, again, I think, why we're leaning in regionally as a company, why we're leaning in into advanced data protection laws around the globe, and curating our product to ensure that it matches those. It's about how the world works and how technology works within that world. A lot of people think there's a peanut butter spread one law should be able to cover the world, and that's just not real. Different cultures, different requirements, different consumer protection requirements. Those are going to happen in different parts of the world. So, making products that enable that type of capability, that ensure that level of choice, is, I think, things that we should be focusing on, not just as a executive technologist, within a technology company, but also as a user that who I like to geek out on these things as well. I'm a bit of a techno nerd when it comes to trying new technologies, and it's important for me to understand what my level of risk is or not when it comes to certain technologies.
Yeah, it's like investing, right? You get to pick your risk level, or you get to. I like it when it's very optional. I love that there was a positive trend in the tech world where, back when things first started, all of these things were happening in just blanket agreements. And then some companies started to stand out by saying, hey, we're going to be like super transparent, and that's the platform we're going to run on. And then they started presenting things to you, and you could turn things on and off and see and I love the fact that became a trend in our field.
I do too. One of the reasons I love being here is the continuation and the focus, and we get up every day, and one of our ethos is user-centric focus. And so, what would the user want? What does the user need? What is expected in those regions we operate, and being able to continue evolve our product on a daily basis sometimes to achieve that. First time in my career that I've been able to do that, and really super excited.
I have no experience with like cross-regional customizations of like technology in a social context. Does the TikTok app operate differently in different regions?
It does. I mean, from everything from our data defense to access assurance, like it's all on the back end. Like how does it work? What can be offered from a services perspective within the platform in different regions? Generally the platform as a whole is an integrated singular platform that allows the sharing of videos, you to have private or public videos, you to engage with whoever you want around the world. But as we think about the things on the back end that we have to make sure that are protected, secure, private, choices that we give, depending on where you register your application or your residence of location, all of those are important in how we provide the service out to the consumer.
How do you do incentive alignment within your team, or what does your team even look like?
It's a good question. So we have, a broad set of remits, right? So security is simply mission critical here, right? That is, that's how we focus on it. And by the way, I come from critical infrastructure defense, right? That is kind of my whole background. And now I'm in the coolest technology company ever, but it's because our focus when we started this is really on, it's part of the critical infrastructure of the organization. So, obviously data is important, right? Users on TikTok, almost 1 billion MAUs now, or over 1 billion MAUs now. People around the globe sit on our platform and they trust us with that data. So we take it very seriously. So data defense and access assurance is absolutely critical to us. Also from a safety perspective, we have the entirety of the safety organization that's focused on, from people of all ages, teens to grandparents, right? This is important, right? Like, for instance, next month, our financial crimes team that focuses on keeping bad stuff off platform, fraud things and things like that, are engaging in anti-fraud education programs for the public, for the elderly, with our partnerships with public entities, because around Valentine's Day people target elderlies for these Valentine's Day scams. And so, we get involved in things like that. We kind of talked to the multiple teams previously, but it's set up in primarily a team that does cyber defensive operations. One does that looks at over the threat horizons and then modifies our monitoring and control capabilities, defend against that, and respond to incidents. We have what we call a converged security group that includes digital crimes, financial crimes, the people that are focused on our workforce to ensure that they're safe around the globe. And then we have a team that is constantly evaluating risks. So what are the risks we have to focus on? This is a fast-moving world, a fast-moving business. And so we constantly reevaluate our risk criteria and really focus on the things that are most important to the community we serve and in our business. So, I mean, that's at a very high level, but that's kind of the mission space of the teams that I get to work with every day.
Yeah, and you need it too. I read an article, and I don't know if it's true, but I think it is, that TikTok surpassed Google as one of the most visited websites in the world. Is that true?
I saw that somewhere too. I'm the security guy.
I don't confirm or deny it.
I don't know. I just know that we have a lot of people that that are on the platform that we're going to continue to make these commitments to, of providing a safe, enjoyable, and happy place. I mean, the funniest thing when I'm so used to critical infrastructure defense and cybercrime and this, then I come to a place where people are writing articles about the last sunniest corner of the internet. And I'm like, cool. I get to wake up every day and protect the last sunniest corner of the internet. Like, what more do you want in a job, right?
Right. What's an MAU? You said that earlier. I didn't know what that was.
Monthly average users. It's an industry term. It's monthly average users, daily average users. It's how technology is measured. It's just one of the key metrics.
Got it. You need high quality people on your team. You guys are protecting like a huge empire. When you're talking with, obviously, you have on your direct reports are these heads of these essential like mini organizations, right? And when you're looking for these types of people to bring on your team, specifically like your direct reports, what is, like, if you had to boil it down to one, maybe two traits, when you're interviewing, what are the things that stand out to you when you're like, this is one of those special people, I need to have them on my team?
Mission centric. They have to be execution oriented, mission centric individuals that understand this space and want to be in the fight every day. Like, when I was in law enforcement, in federal law enforcement, someone had once given me a T-shirt that showed a police officer on the back of a garbage can, a garbage truck, and it says, "Some days this feels like my job." And in this world, when you're the 911 for the business, you're the 911 for the consumers on your platform, and you're dealing with people trying to attack. People trying to do fraud schemes, people trying like all of this stuff. You deal with that. You have to have people on your team that want to do that. Like, I love stopping bad guys. I love creating technology that, stops organized crime or state-sponsored issues or whatever it's going to be. And you want people that want to be in the fight. So if you ask me the one trait I would select over all of them is a mission-centric person.
I'm curious, you said something. Do you guys support creators making money on your platform? Because typically, like for us, we're on different platforms and we have to go get our own advertisers and such. Do you guys, like, how do you interface with the creators in that?
Oh, people make a living as creators on the platform.
Really?
Oh, some of the stories you should go research. And I get, again, this is one of those happy places where you see a young mom who, wasn't satisfied, maybe a young single mom who wasn't satisfied with the job she was doing to support your young kids, had a passion for doing soap. So created a soap line and then went on and did marketing, did how she made it, how it smells, what you can use it for, and got hundreds of thousands of followers, and it's now has her own soap company that's making a lot more money than she did. We have people that some of the top music that came out last year that hit the billboards came from creators that are on platform. I mean, the interesting thing, it doesn't matter what your skill is, what your passion is, or what your joy is. You can put it out there. and the more that it connects with people, the more money you can make based on how people engage you. So it's really, really interesting to see the community that has just taken off here.
I want to plug your book, if that's okay. Is it for sale?
Yes. I would hope so.
What's the title of it?
How to become a next generation chief security executive.
Nice. And if I were to read one chapter of that book, which chapter should it be?
I think the one of my favorite chapters is on the chapter of convergence and why that's important. And in the security space, typically you have a CISO side of the house and a corporate security director side of the house and a risk management side of the house. I think the focus in the future of enterprise defense and security is really around the concept of the totality of security, how we make decisions, how we drive controls, how we evaluate risk. And it's hard to do that and have a discussion with the CEO at the same time while he has 4 or 5 different security or risk practitioners coming to them. So there's a whole section on convergence that focuses on why it's important to have holistic security business leaders. That's why we kind of named the book the way we did. That focus on the business and the consolidation of security practices to have a singular picture for the company, to make fast, informed, educated decisions, and to be able to execute across a broad set of security capabilities to fight whatever needs to be fought. And whether it's a fraud issue, a cyber issue, an intrusion issue, a workforce protection issue, whatever it may be, how do you do that, make decisions fast, and understand the impact to the company? That's what convergence is all about.
Excellent. Well, we'll put a link to the book in the show notes so people can click and buy it. And I'm excited. Dude, this was great. We're running up on time here. One last question for you. The best piece of leadership advice that you've ever received?
Lead from in front. I come from the military. I was trained in leadership in the military. Best leaders I've ever followed, led from the front, and they engage with the people who do the work. The closer you are to the work, the closer you understand the mission space and what your people are going through, the better leader you're going to be. So lead from in front.